Welcome to Bay Focus. Thank you for tuning in today. Well, it is a busy time of the year, and I know for the number of shows coming up here in the future months here, we're right into the fall season. There's so much going on with fall, and then we go right into the holidays from there. So we're going to be sharing some exciting events with you, and one of those coming up, we're going to talk about in just a moment, is CareFest, and that may be a term you know. If not, you're going to find out. And then just in a little bit later in the show, we're going to get caught up with Better Together, an incredible ministry and organization that helps families and keeps children out of foster care if possible. You want to see how you can help them. They do an amazing job of providing an alternative and ministering to families in need. But before we do that, we're going to tell you about CareFest, and we have three gentlemen with us today to talk about this. Right away here to my left is Larry Fisher, who is the owner of Military Veteran Team LPT Realty. And we have another member of your team we're going to introduce in just a moment. But before we get to him, right next to you is Luke Bernard, who is known to our viewers with Somebody Cares Tampa Bay, the sponsor of CareFest, and he is the CareFest coordinator. And right next to Luke is Jason Patino, who is with the Military Veteran Team LPT Realty, which I think you can tell by their shirts.
A little bit.
So, thank you. But I love it.
Yeah.
You guys are so together with this. So thank you all for coming today. So great to have you. We're going to talk with LPT Realty in just a moment because they're very plugged in to CareFest. But before we do, Luke, for our viewers that don't know what Somebody Cares Tampa Bay is or what CareFest is, please fill them in.
So, Somebody Cares, it's a nonprofit started 28 years ago, and the focus is to unite the body of Christ, that be churches, businesses, organizations, to show Christ's love to the community. That would be prayer, different outreaches, food drives. We worked with Operation Blessings, really to impact the community and show Christ's love. And one of those events is CareFest, so which is why we're here today, talking about that outreach of minor home repairs for elderly, disabled, just people that are in need. It all started with 24 years ago at the Super Bowl, the Operation Blessing, and the Supper Bowl, and
I remember, I have to jump in there. That was the coolest event ever. I remember that we were out there with our cameras, we covered it, and to see how that springboarded into CareFest. And I want to define CareFest a little bit, because we're talking about a particular event coming up, which is September 27th.
That's right.
It's always the last Saturday in September. But so tell us about that event, but also you do this year round now, right?
Yes. So, yes, it was just once a year, and it's been going on for 24 years, and it's evolved because needs are continual year round, and doesn't fit quite in people's schedule and all those kind of stuff. And then last year, the two hurricanes, it just evolved to be kind of like a year round. But the big Super Bowl of caring is still the last Saturday of September. But we have different churches and organizations that are doing it in October and in November. So it's a year round of caring and loving on these homeowners who are in need. And there are minor home repairs and needs that these people, they can't do it physically, they can't do it financially. And it's really going out there and just blessing them, showing them Christ's love, and ministering to this homeowner.
Yeah, and so you have on that Saturday event coming up, which we want to talk about here because we want people to get connected. Here we're in the month of September. It's a good Saturday to do this, to mobilize churches, businesses, all kind of individuals, groups that all do this. And speaking of businesses, I want to talk to you, Larry, about this. Obviously, Military Vet Team, LPT Realty. Explain the military side. I need you to explain that for our viewers and tell us a little bit about LPT Realty. First, before we talk about CareFest.
So my name is Larry Fisher, Captain Veteran, U.S. Army after 16 years, 6 deployments.
Thank you.
And so we
service.
Thank you, appreciate that. But we have 260 agents on our team, and we sponsor quarterly projects with CareFest to people in need. And it really is a great time to go out with the team and then have a sense of community to pour into the community. And we also use our technology in real estate to circle prospect the entire neighborhood, to have everyone come out. And we use our team as a ministry too. We're Christian, faith-based, conservative group. And we really try to lift others up and put others' needs ahead of us to come from love and put others in need. So what we do is we'll adopt projects every quarter, and just from the feedback that we get from the people and the gratitude, and also the team members that participate in these projects, when you sweat with one another, the sense of community and pride of being with one another and working hard has really helped foster a wonderful culture, and also in sharing the gospel message with folks in our community.
Yeah, and what I love about this is you are, and I'm going to let you, Jason, because you work hand in hand with Larry on this, and you guys work with veterans, but also with everybody too as a realtor. But explain, because you really work with these teams, how you set this up and get some of your experiences.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, we have a large enough base with our company where we can generally run multiple projects at the same time.
Wow.
So we'll assign team leaders, we'll work on the punch list for what we need for tools, and then we'll get out and have multiple groups at multiple homes on the same day. And then when we're done with one, we'll rush over to the other. And then, obviously we have the barbecue. I'm sure they'll talk about that. So that's basically how we run as many projects as we can as fast as possible.
And when this is part of it, and it was something we were talking about before the show, and I want you to share this. This is really part of a culture you have as a company, as everything. You really, you want your people and everybody to serve, to give. Tell us why this is important to you.
Well, I'll start with this. The first interviewing question to come and interview for our team is, we are a conservative Christian organization.
Yeah.
This is our culture. Do you have a problem working with that?
Yeah.
And then we give out daily devotionals. Are you going to have a problem where we talk conservatively and talk about Christ and practice our faith with each other? Because that's who we are. We're not willing to change our culture for anyone, but we're willing to accept everybody.
Yeah.
So as long as you're okay with that, we're okay with that.
Yeah, and this is big part helping out with CareFest is what you do. This is a big part of that serve culture, a big part of getting out there and doing this. All right, Luke, since we're talking about LPT Realty, I'm going to come back and talk to you in a moment and how this breaks down, how people can get involved and how this works out on CareFest days. But let's take a look at what LPT Realty, and I'm shortening the name a little bit for it says it easier, but they work with military veterans. We have a military veteran here as well, so that's just so cool in what they do. But let's take a real quick video look at some of their involvement.
The military group, they came out and helped clean up my house, all around it. It's just, God just brought everybody to me, and I really appreciate that. I really do. And I want to thank everybody from the bottom of my heart for helping me today. Well, they did the work, I didn't do it. They've been doing all the work, and it looks so good. It looks like when I first moved in the house. And I want to thank everybody, and I love everybody. And thank you.
We love you.
Love you too.
I love that. I love that. Where was that project? You want to tell me?
So that was in Clearwater, Florida. And some of our agents actually knew that lady because they grew up in that neighborhood in Clearwater. So it's just a sense of community of reaching back and giving back to those in need. And a lot of these people, they're being cited for violations because their fences or their yards, out of compliance. So we go there and bring them back to compliance, and just a sense of community and gratitude and just the joy they have is just so fulfilling.
I absolutely love it. I love that's a good example. All right, Luke, in our remaining time left here, tell our viewers exactly what happens here now for CareFest, particularly for the September event, what they can do to get involved, how to register, what kind of groups you're looking for, et cetera.
So most of the projects, they're for 5 people. They're small groups. A lot of small groups are able to get involved. It's half days of work. And we have about 35 projects throughout the Tampa Bay. So they can contact me, and I can direct them. So they can call me at Somebody Cares 536-2273. My extension's 104. They can email me, and I would love to help them find someone in need. I'll tell them more details about the person, and they can get involved that way. The website, carefestusa.com.
Yeah, the website's the best.
Yeah, we've done all the work. We can help get the tools, supplies, and just go out and
Okay,
show
so that's
up.
a really important. You just said something. If somebody, a group really wants to do this, you have what they need to do this. They don't have to go out and purchase everything. You have the supplies.
Yeah, we work with the homeowner, and we have supplies and tools, and so we will have what is needed.
That is a really, really good thing. Now, what about if somebody's watching and they know of someone that needs help either for this event or year round? What can they contact you
They
for
can
that?
contact, there's a submission form on the website, carefestusa.com, and we are in need of evaluators. If you are someone who is a single person, who's a retired general contractor, and we need you. We need evaluators. They are the backbone of CareFest, and they are just in the back, so you don't even know, but they are a huge part of CareFest. And if you want to know more about that, reach out to me. I'd love to train you and get you involved.
So it sounds like you could actually use some skilled professionals and unskilled. I mean, you don't have to have. I mean, like
As long as one person knows what they're doing, they can direct the troops.
And
somebody has to direct all the
Somebody has
minions.
to direct the troops. Like, don't do that.
And CareFest, the CareFest, it's a minor home repair. So if it requires a professional license, then we can't help them. So people know that this is minor repairs for someone who need that they can't do it themselves.
But it's impactful, and they provide a scope of work, which is really good. So we know how many hours, and the scope of work details what is needed to make the property back to compliance.
Yeah, so that could be anything from cleaning up the outside to small home repairs.
That's right, painting, replacing
inside,
trim.
things that they just
Fences
can't get
falling
to.
over.
Yeah, okay, that is a great example. All right, I want to thank you, all three of you, for coming on today. What a great, to your credit, I'm going to say the full thing. Military Veteran Team, LPT Realty. Let me get that all right. To the credit that you guys are consistent with helping and doing this and making this a priority. Thank you so much. Then Luke, as always, Somebody Cares Tampa Bay is on the forefront of helping the community. And we're going to show you a video right now, too, coming out of this interview. Again, how you can connect with a little bit about coming up CareFest, and then we'll be back with more of Bay Focused.
Let's celebrate caring at CareFest. Each year, join small groups of goodwill from churches and businesses as we meet the needs of the elderly, disabled, and single parents to paint, repair, and beautify their homes. Let's have a blast on any Saturday, making it CareFest Day. For more information, call 727-536-2273 or visit us online at carefestusa.com.
For over 20 years, Bay Focus has taken you behind the scenes of Central Florida ministries, community organizations, and local events. Join host Darlene Greenlee as she talks to local leaders about how Christians can express faith in action in their communities. Tune in on Wednesdays and Thursdays on CTN Greater Tampa Bay or watch on demand at ctnonline.com/bayfocus.
Well, we're back, and we have another great ministry and an organization to talk to you about, ministry and nonprofit organization called Better Together. I love that name. And we have with us to tell us about it is Devin McKnight, who is the Senior Director of Church Relations and Volunteer Mobilization. I love that name. That just says it all. Everything, what you do. Welcome, Devin.
Thank you for having us.
Great to having you back. I say back because this is back for Better Together.
Right.
It's been about a year since we've had you on. but you're our first time on the show, so great to have you.
Thank you.
But I know we have viewers that don't know what Better Together is, and you all are such an incredible organization that works with families in need. Tell us what you do.
Absolutely. So we come alongside families in crisis by providing preventative and supportive services for families in need. And our main mission is to keep the families together and children out of foster care. And we do this by unleashing the power of community, because we believe that everyone can do something to end this foster care crisis.
Yeah, and that is I like that term, unleashing the power of community, because that's literally what you're doing. You're connecting people. First of all, give us, before we talked about some of the specifics, location, because you're located different parts of Florida, et cetera.
Yeah, so we're stretched out over 6 regions, 48 counties here in Florida. We have a goal to, within the next year, to be spread out throughout the entire state of Florida. Yeah. And so we are currently serving in 48 counties here in Florida.
Okay, that's a tall order already.
Absolutely.
The expansion and everything that you all do. All right, your goal is keeping families together.
Right.
There are some specific ways you do this. And including the term, I want to say host families, if I've got this correct.
Yes, that's correct.
Explain what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. So we connect struggling families who have need with vetted volunteer families who are willing to open up their homes for a short period of time to provide care for children while mom and or dad navigates whatever crisis they're experiencing. And our hostings are on average about 44 days. And so during that time, the child is in a safe and loving environment while we're wrapping around mom and dad to help them back on their feet and find that stability.
You know, and what's important to note in that, during that time, the parents are still connected with their children.
Absolutely.
Even when they're at these hosts.
Absolutely. And that's what's incredible about our program.
Yeah.
The parent never loses custody of their child. So the parent has weekly contact with that child, daily communication through FaceTime, and they're able to connect in person once a week. We actually encourage that connection, and so they never lose the connection with their child.
Yeah. You know, one of the things, too, that I think is really important with what you do is you get to some root causes. Like you said, you wrap around, you know, the families. And that includes really trying to get with almost like a case management type situation.
Right.
What are the root causes? Are they finances or et cetera, right? What do? You try to identify.
Absolutely. Well, every case is different. Every family's crisis is unique. You know, it can be anything from a medical emergency or a financial hardship or homelessness, an addiction. I'll give you a quick story. We had a mom who had a medical emergency and needed emergency surgery. And the town that she lived in, she had no support system. And so when she got to the hospital, she had to make a decision. She's either going to have this surgery and risk her boys going into the system, because as you know, children can't stay in a hospital unattended to.
Right.
So there was a nurse on staff that knew about our program, and she called Better Together.
Wow.
And within a few moments, we were able to have one of our host moms go to the hospital and sit with the boys for 8 hours until grandma had enough time to fly into town. And just in that short amount of time, we were able to keep 2 boys out of foster care. And it's not that the mom needed the system. It's not that she was an unfit mom. She just needed a community. And so that's where we step in. We try to become that bridge for families who just need community.
Yeah. And one of the things you do is many times can be a situation too of financial need, poverty.
Absolutely.
All of that. You do something, a job fair. Explain that.
Absolutely. So I'm sure that you've been to a job fair, but I always tell people there's no job fair like Better Together's job fair, because it really is a day of just hope. I've been to several job fairs where I will see job seekers walk in one way and walk out a totally different way. We've been able to serve over 40,000 job seekers where they were able to find employment on the spot. And so we have job fairs. We connect with local churches. We empower the church, and we host job fairs. We connect them with the employers, and the job seekers, they come, they're met on site with a job coach that's going to help them navigate the day. They'll help them by looking over their resume, help them with interview skills, even take them around the facility and find clothes, maybe even a haircut on the spot. And about 70% of our job seekers either find or receive a job on the spot or get an interview scheduled.
That is those numbers are amazing.
Absolutely.
You just
Absolutely.
mentioned too, and it's a big part of what you do, mobilizing volunteers in the church. These are held at churches, what
Yes.
you're saying. But how, in a greater sense, working with you, does the church come together? How do you work with them?
So, Darlene, the church is really the backbone of everything that we do. We couldn't serve families with excellence without the local church. They're our number one partner. All of our volunteers come directly out of the church. So we host our job fairs in the church, and then all of the families that we serve through our Better Families program come directly out of the church. And the reason for that is we provide families with resources, to preventative and supportive resources, but our ultimate goal is to connect families to the source. And if you remember in the book of John, I believe it's in John 15, Jesus says that I am the vine and you are the branches. And if you remain connected to me, then you shall bear much fruit. We believe that if a family is going to bear fruit and really obtain real stability, we have to connect them to the vine. And so ultimately, we point them back to the church. So it all starts with the local church.
Well, so what you're saying in such an incredibly great way and clear way, concise, is it's a spiritual situation.
Absolutely.
You want there to be spiritual help as well.
Absolutely.
You want them to get the source and know that Christ is the answer for their family, for them. All right, we've talked about the role of the church and everything along this line, but how do you get, what is the relationship with what I'm thinking other organizations, even the state? Are you getting referrals? How do you find out about these families?
Absolutely. So about 60% of our referrals come directly from the Department of Children and Families. Okay. Because see, they understand that 80% of the children that go into foster care, they go in for not physical abuse, not sexual abuse, but simply because they have no community. So preventable reasons like a medical emergency or homelessness, or maybe their parent has a short-term incarceration. And so we connect with community stakeholders like the Department of Children and Families or law enforcement and hospitals and school districts. And so a lot of our referrals come from our key community stakeholders in the community.
And that's a wide group, of referrals. So you would have a number of people. Is this, I'm listening to this, and when I first heard about you all a year ago, I didn't even know. I've done a lot with foster care. A number of these agencies, the state agencies want to partner with the faith-based community because they want people to become foster parents.
Right.
And that is really good too. That is really
Absolutely.
good to get Christians involved
Absolutely.
in the system to provide those safer homes.
Right.
However, this is a different approach of let's not automatically put them in.
That's right.
The system.
Let's
is
try
this
to
a
prevent it.
prototype? Nationwide, or is this spreading, this concept?
Yes. So right now, our Better Families program is specific to the state of Florida. Our Better Jobs program, where we host the job fairs with churches, is connected all throughout the country. So we're spread out over many states. But there is conversation happening regarding us expanding. Because, just imagine, Darlene, what would happen if as soon as a family began to struggle, the church got there first.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's just so heavy. Just hearing that. That is so much
Absolutely.
part of walking it out, walking
Absolutely.
our faith.
Absolutely.
Just absolutely faith in action. Okay, how can our viewers connect with Better Together? What are some of the greatest needs? This obviously you're getting referrals, et cetera. But this can't, this is an undertaking.
Absolutely.
What are the ways that our viewers can partner with you?
Our greatest need right now is volunteers. We often say that we are a volunteer-driven, professionally supported organization. And more now than ever, we are in great need of volunteers, host families who will be willing to open up their home for a short period of time and care for children. Right here in Pinellas County, there's over 600 children in out-of-home foster care right now. And actually in Hillsborough County, Hillsborough has the highest number of removals in the state of Florida, more than any other county in Florida. And so our greatest need at this moment is volunteer families, host families who would be willing to open up their homes.
And you guys are active in Hillsborough County
Absolutely.
as well. And then just what would be if somebody's listening, I would really like to volunteer, obviously the host families,
Sure.
to do this for a short period of time. You come alongside them.
We do. So we have family support managers who comes alongside the family, and they don't have to do it alone. We have staff professionals that will come alongside them and help them navigate through the entire process. So our host families, we also have mentors who maybe they're not able to host, but they're willing to walk alongside.
That's a really big thing.
Absolutely. That single mom who just needs direction, or maybe that father who is getting back reinserted into society and needs to get some help leveraging resources in the community. So we have mentors, we have job coaches to help look over resumes, help with interview skills, help find that job lead. And then we also have resource volunteers. Maybe they can't host, but they can drop off a meatloaf to a family who's hosting. So everyone can do something.
Well, so you're looking at, there are some opportunities that would just be maybe a few hours a week.
Absolutely.
Or here and there, they're not committing to being a host family, but the host families, of course, are so important.
That's right.
But everybody that comes alongside as well.
Absolutely.
Wow, I love everything you're doing with Better Together. I just
Thank
see
you.
this is such a God thing, and how the churches can get involved. Churches are looking for ways that they can get out into the community, and sometimes it's partnering with other organizations.
Right.
They don't have to initiate it themselves. To
That's
connect
right.
with Better Together.
That's right. Absolutely.
But thank you so much,
My
Devin,
pleasure.
for
And thank
being on
you.
the show today. I
appreciate
love it. And this is an example, Better Together, what we've shown you throughout this show, of ways that you can partner with organizations and get involved, including in our first segment with Somebody Cares Tampa Bay, too. These are organizations that come alongside you, the church, whoever you are representing watching this show today. This is opportunities to show faith in action and show how we can put our belief in the gospel message of really putting feet to it. So stay tuned on the screen. Here's how you can contact Better Together. Well, we've shown you two ways that you can get involved in the community. Wow, Somebody Cares Tampa Bay CareFest coming up the last Saturday in September, and I'm going by memory here. I think it's the 27th of September. You can do that immediately this month, year-round, and then also Better Together, incredible organization helping families and keeping kids out of foster care. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Connect with me. I want to hear from you. We will see you next week. God bless you.